guess we've started recording now. So let's go. All right. So can we all see my screen, please? Even though I might not be seeing this reaction, but I want to be sure if you can see my screen. Okay. I'm seeing a thumbs up right now. Can you see my screen? Though I'm back to see to confirm. All right. All right. So good. We are good to go. So today we'll be talking about our pivot tables and pivot charts. And like we have said, probably we must have seen some other parts. Just a minute. Let me take care of the background noise. So we must have been hearing pivot table, pivot table, pivot table. So what comes to our mind when they say pivot table? You know, and it's a very powerful tool in summarizing a large data set quickly and easy. You know, there are a lot of intimidating tools in SQL and in Excel, Microsoft Excel. But if you can understand pivot table properly, I'm telling you for free. I'm telling you, for free. You are different. You'll be on a league on your own. And of course, in the journey of being in a journey of which you are trying to become a data analyst, or you are adding more knowledge to what you already have, your knowledge in pivot table will help you, particularly in building an interactive dashboard, to work on projects, to do a lot of stuff easily. So this part is quite very important. So, and please, if you are not getting it, we are all here. We'll do our best. So we'll entertain questions, and of course, we do our best to explain it. So let's look at what is pivot table. Now, pivot table in Excel are powerful tools, for summarizing and analyzing large data set quickly and easily. Like what I've said the other time, it's just it. But it's a very powerful tool. You will see some job applications, they will be saying, oh, we need a data analyst, we need a business analyst who is very good with an advanced Excel, with VLOOKUP, pivot tables, and some other important functions in Excel. So you will see all this. I normally encounter them often. And you check the pay, a very quite good pay, remote jobs and the like. So the opportunities are there. And it is one thing to say, hey, I know Excel. It's another thing to know all these advanced tools. So let's go. So let's look at what this pivot table can do. To summarize data, yes, just like what we said, summarizing data, and it can aggregate value based on the criteria you specify, maybe with respect to a text or an entity. You can also use it to rearrange data, maybe from row to column to row. We are going to see all this practical stuff. We have it here. Then to filter data, of course, it's quite very easy to do that, to sort data out, to filter data, to rearrange them, and to also perform calculations like sum, average, and other important functions. So before we go to the pivot chart, so I'll just show an example because yes, it's an add-on section. Now, we have some data sets here we want to be using to explain what we are talking about. We have by now we should have the knowledge now and say, okay, we use pivot table to summarize large data Large data, you cannot understand what is happening until you're able to summarize it using pivot table. Okay, to understand which one has the highest sales, which one has the lowest sales, which one is this, which one is that, to understand the data structure. So that is one of the beauty about pivot table. Now we have some data set now. Let's look at a retail company. I'm just trying to give us a picture now so that we can flow with this. Now, a retail company, a typical retail company buy from the manufacturer and resell. That is the normal thing. So if they have, that means they have the product, they have a warehouse, and of course, maybe they have several offers just to resell. These are the most common type of business we have today. Now, let's say we have a retail company now that they sell things, they buy it directly from the manufacturer, and probably they rescale it down so that it can be sellable, to other customers. So this is what the retail people are all about, retail companies. So yeah, we have the transaction. This is what records every daily activity. Okay, if I want to buy something now, if I'm register myself and they already know, so I can go ahead to do this. I'm going to use bank, most common, because we normally visit bank. Good number of us at least. We use banks. We have banking apps and the likes on our place. So if you want to open an account in a bank, the first place, the first sector they will direct you as you are stepping into the banking hall, they will direct you to the customer service representative. This is the table. And what do they want to do there? They will conduct a standard KYC, know your customer. So they will give you one big form. As a matter of fact, that form, they will say, write the story of your life, even the name of your grandma, the first boyfriend of your grandma. They will ask all manner of questions. The idea is they want to know you more. They will even say, oh, who is your enemy? If it's possible to enter the name of your enemy. So they will do everything about you, will bill, your address, your passport, your salary, your this, your that. They will get everything. But we just put it down here. So at the end of the day, they will generate a particular attribute, which is your ID. And the reason why they will generate this ID is because people can be bearing the same name. If we be judging it by, okay, my name is Ajayi Sheon. In Ogbaye, you can see 50 Ajayi Sheon that is using the same bank. And if you should be going by name, so everybody will look confused. So this unique identity, that's why they call it unique. You are the only one that can have it. So they will assign it to you, just like the account. They will assign account, okay, this is what we know you for. If you are buying anything from us, your receipt will contain your ID. So that anytime you are angry that you want to return those items, this is one of the things they will ask you and to know, okay, you are who. So this is the customer profile, the customer name, registration date, the state you come from. So we are just limiting it to this one that everybody's quiet. Sorry, let me go back to be sure. Am I audible? Am I breaking? Okay. Okay. Thank you, Miss Morayo. Thank you, Mr. Cardoso. Apologies. I can. All right. Okay. Mr. Lookman. All right. Thank you. All right. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's have fun. Come on. So where they come from? Look at them. We just have to limit it to this 5 columns so that at least we don't get it complicated. But the most important thing is the knowledge areas. So you can see the ID. It is done sequentially. 78, 79, 80, 81, 82. And this is how it is done in most organizations. So they will first of all profile you Even if you go to hospital and maybe that is your first time, they will profile you. Oh, go and meet with this. They will ask you questions. They will ask you some questions so that they can know you more. Your phone number, your genotype, your this, they will just add this. So once you do this, so you can now, go ahead and refine anything. You can even go to counter. You can do some transaction maybe on your mobile phone, everything. So this is where it is being recorded. You can see it's only captured the quantity they are buying and maybe if there's any discount. So this is what they identify as you, customer ID. Also, the product you are buying is an entity. It's also an entity. And because the way they profile us, the storekeeper too will have to profile those products in their store, in their warehouse. You can see the ID too is assigned to them because some products can be there. They can have the same brand name, yes, they can have the same name, but manufactured at different time. And maybe the production cost has even increased. So we have this information. You can see their category. There is something that categorizes them. We just use class A. It's a declassed data set. And the quantity, stock quantity left, their unit price, their production price, and their store location code, where they are. Instead of writing maybe Abuja, maybe Nairobi, maybe Johannesburg. So we just give it a code. Every uh, store has a code to make it more simpler. And that is what is called data normalization. So we don't have too much information to fill. So the profile data, you can see them sequence to 75, 76, 77, 78, and like that. So we have another one called returns. And you will see the transaction ID because every activity has an ID. You can see the transaction ID also in sequence. But a time can come that customer will want to return their item. Maybe they identify some defect. They notice, oh, this thing's supposed to show me red color, but now it's giving me white. What's going on? So this department, they handle a lot of crisis. Oh, they will come, this one will do this. Okay, madam, bring your receipt. Mister, please, can we have your receipt? So, and I'm sure we all have this. So somebody will be wondering, why are we having returns? Why can't we just go back here and delete? Oh, we have refunded this customer. That is not a good practice because it will encourage people to delete transactions and enable corruption. So what they do is to create a table. All they just have to do is to put an ID of that transaction that tracks that transaction. This, because that is enough. This is the unique guy. But these guys, they can appear multiple times. Multiple times. We are still talking about the ID of the entity we are looking at. So this is why the returns here are recorded. So before we do any transaction, any analysis as a data analyst, we have to take out all these returns. Rather than writing the analysis, this is enough. Normalization is very important. So store information now, you can see the store location code. You can see those store locations where they are. So we are zoned to be in the sixth geopolitical zone of the country, Nigeria. So this is what they capture. So this is the data set we'll be looking at. I'll just try to give us a background knowledge, information about it. So if we are going to do a pivot table to summarize what has happened now, so we should be able to understand the first thing, to have a domain knowledge. Okay, what's the business all about? Don't rush to say, okay, open Excel, which version? No. Ask questions. Okay, how did they do their stuff? So because that is how we can, with that knowledge, we can use that to understand the data and able to generate insight, from it. So, but first thing is one of the cool practice is to create table. And I believe we must have learned how to create table by now. You can press Ctrl T, it's already highlighting it, or go to the Insert tab here, and you can see the table here. It's already tells that Ctrl T is another way to do that. Now, there's a reason why we are doing that. So let's press Ctrl T. Our table has header, don't forget. Yes. And this will always give a funny, I don't like this color, even though this is how it will look like. We can always change our table style. I'm a fan of a good visual. So blue is still fine. So let's use this. And as a matter of fact, let's use it as a default. Click on it. Yeah. So that anytime I want to create a table, it will always appear like this. Sorry, that's just my preference. All right. So what we are just going to do, we can rename this table so that we can know. So let's call it transactions. It's fine. So that's the table name now. We go to product profile. We do the same thing also, Ctrl T. We are coming. So it's already in this format. So let's call this products or product profile. Let's make it up. Then we come back to customer profile here. So we just press Ctrl T, and call it customer profile. All right. So we go to the returns here. Also, Ctrl T. It has table. Don't forget to check this, else it will create an extra column at the top. So you can call this returns underscore table. Then the last one, store information. Ctrl T. So let's just type store. All right, so let's come back to transaction. Now we have done all this. We have done a very good job right now. This is not easy. And this is fantastic. So the next thing is we actually now want to create the pivot table itself. So the first thing, most of the time, it is one thing to know what this thing does, another thing to know how to navigate. So there is nothing bad in having a cheat sheet or having a pictorial way to guide you. I did that when I was learning, so it can work. I just have one place where I just capture it, more of like a screenshot of this, and I just put one circle here. That's first thing, 1, second thing, 2, 3. It could just take maybe an hour or something to fix, But the most important thing is you use it, and by default, our subconscious mind we get used to it. The more we use it, because it's not like maybe we try to cram it, or no, it doesn't work that way. Else you'll be struggling. It will come naturally, and in time will come. You don't even need to be taking your cheat sheet. You just be doing your stuff, and you are good. But now you are seeing it for the first time. Don't cut corners. Use your cheat sheet. Screenshot this. Okay, this is what this man said. He said next thing we should go to insert. You can circle this in the red something. Target number 1, just to show step. This one as number 2. You can circle it too. It's a way to do it, so that anytime you want to do any pivot table, you can always do that. View it, have something in your phone, get it started. So pivot table, this is the pivot table. You can see under tables here we have some recommended pivot table, and this table is inactive because yes, it's now a table. We already have we have a table here, except we convert it to a normal range, by going to table and click on convert to range. So it will just turn to a normal thing. But already it's now a table. So we click on pivot table. Now you can see the table name transaction has pop up. So here we go. We can say, okay, let's go with new worksheet. Or if it is this existing sheet, you click on existing sheet, indicate location like this. But this is not where we are going to. Our focus is actually on new worksheet. so that we can get it. Then below we have is in the case of analyzing multiple tables like what we have now, we can create a model. But before you can create a model, it is very important you create a table around it. But let's start with a single table to see what it means to do a pivot table, So let's go. This is a single one without, this is just from transaction. Now it will launch us to a new sheet once we click on new worksheet. So it will activate pivot table analyze tab, the design. So you can see it's telling us this. But the moment we click a cell outside this guy, these guys will disappear. You can see even the pivot table feed from the left. You click it again, it will come up. So you can see some cool features we have here. You can see the pivot chart here, the relationship. That is the modeling now. The move pivot table, the feed list. Sometimes we can say, oh, let me remove this feed list. You see, it has gone. You can always bring it back, We are coming to this part. You can even go to recommended pivot table again to make things easy. We can bring out our slicer. Now, what slicer does basically is for enable us to filter information like we have seen and even create timeline. We can change data sources, especially if we are trying to leveraging on what maybe we have built something and we don't want it to. So we can have some other sources, And if you are adding information to this, all we just have to do is to click on refresh. The information will be added to the pivot. So now let's go to the pivot table field. All what is here is the header. You can see all the headers in transaction are the ones that appear here. For example, if I type something like SAT and I come back to here, you won't find SAT until I refresh, go to this, I refresh it. So you can see the SAT now. So even though SAT has no meaning, except I just think of today's Saturday. So all right. So we can refresh it to take it out again. See, gone. So this is how you can add more information to, this class is too silent. Oh, hey God. I don't know if we are getting it. If I'm clear, I think we have it. I have feedback. All right, of course, I'll make sure the community manager send it to us. The data set we are using right now. So I'll do my best to ensure you have it and we can practice with it. So am I audible, please? Any sign? Any reaction? Oh, maybe I'm not audible. Hey. Oh, okay. Oh, thank you. Correct. I'm relieved. All right, this is
Okay,
good.
Mr. Shina, yeah, well
Okay.
done. You are very audible from my end. So maybe what I would do is that because I'm not really going to be active on this call, so I will try to unmute like 5 people for you so that you can communicate with.
Okay,
Please,
okay,
if you
okay.
want to volunteer, you can raise your hand. Let me just unmute you so that in case Mr. Shina is asking question, you cannot see the screen. And yeah, so okay, so I will just unmute like 4 or 5 people for you. So please, those that I'm going to unmute, make sure that you mute your mic so that you don't disturb the class. Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you, Mr. Foley.
Okay, you can go on.
Thank you, Mr. Foley. You're amazing, man. All right, let's go. So I'm used to interactive class anyway. So if something's silent, it looks like I'm just talking to myself and I'm just enjoying myself. So, but it's fine. Let's move on. Okay, now we have everything down here. The column header and the likes. So what are these fields are all about? Let's look at these icons. I mean, the information here. Rows. I know this is rows. That's one thing. This is how they count rows. And column, these are the column. The E's, the alphabet, are the columns. The numbers here are the rows. This, I think we talked about it. Then values, once it is number, because that is what we can use to quantify the information we put. But let's see. We can, because all these ones are entity, we can drop it here. You see, all of them uniquely coming out. You can see them. We can even drag it down here. You can see how it is being represented on the column. And that's why they call it column label. So dragging this back, this is row label. But if you drag this one to value, it will count it by default. You can see, because this part is meant for counting, for numbers. So it will bring some aggregate function to do it, even if it is letter. So that is why this part is meant for value. You can see the summation sign, you know. So that's what it means. But here is filter. You want to be filtering it one after the other, especially when we have some information here. So this is one where we can go. All right, so let's take it out. Now, one of the cool thing about what's the name about Python? Sorry, I said Python. About us Excel is that let's bring this date into this. You can see what is already showing. You can see it is just one date we drag to the column. You can see it's different thing is showing us because that means we can extract a lot of things from dates. We can extract week, we can extract date, we can extract month, we can extract year. Let me show us how that is possible. Let me type today's date, for example, 8/24. Always start with month 2024. But sometimes you need to confirm it. You can see it's already indicating its dates. And to see, oh, it's a long date. This is a long day, Saturday. Oh, you're correct. So let's take it back to. And, we can extract week here. I think we have done all this. So I'm just trying to remind us using week norm, of this. And with 34, I'm just giving us something to refresh so that we'll see why it is very easy for pivot table to do all this. What about months? Now, we can type text. Sometimes we can just type text. I think they have done something like this to us. Okay, this is a table, comma, and use a description, month. So to give us, we are in August, AUG. But if we want it a full, add one more M. M stands for month, That's August. So that means if I change this to YYY, that will be year. It will turn to year. So, and for year, we can copy this. So, sorry, it has come to this. So let's change it back to D. And let's edit this guy to YYY. 2024. We can even extract it using this. Many things we can extract from dates so that you don't have to be stressing yourself. So what we can do here, let's say our focus is just month. So we'll begin to take out these guys. You can see quarterly self. Month is what we need, so take out this guy. You see, January, February to December. And let's say we are trying to look at the quantity we're supplying in each month. Then you can now drag this guy to this. These are the total quantities supplied. You can see how it summarizes everything. Sharp, sharp. It summarizes it, and we can just create a chart from here and say we are good. So we will drag anything. You can see it's already showing us the aggregate function. By default is sum, but we can still always change it. What about average? Let's say we want to have an idea of how much it is sold every January. How much do we sell on average? We can go to the pivot table, analyze, go to the field settings to select other parameter, or let me take it slow again. Pivot table, analyze, go to the field settings. It will show you this, or come down here to the drop down in this value. You can see, and you can see those options here, and click on it. So this is the feed value feed settings. And also I think you can right click here and go to the, you can see 3 options right now. So, and it will show you the same thing. So just try to, when you are capturing this, especially when you are playing the video, if you screenshot it, the one you can remember very well. Just, okay, I think that right click one, I'll just see value feed settings. This one is showing value feed settings, and that one is showing feed settings also. We just pick anyone that is comfortable with you. So you can click on this, and okay, average is okay. And trust me, it will give you an average quantity supplied. You can see it's already giving you what it means, average of quantity supply per month. And we can also go again, find the maximum one supplied. Now, one of the cool thing about this is that we can use this maximum now to even do churn analysis. We must have been hearing churn and retention rate. For retention rate, the idea about churn is to know when the last time customer buys something from that company. So by then you can use that to identify it. So maximum can really help us, but we are going to see something of such. So now once we have this, we can still go ahead, pick a lot of aggregate functions and use. And that's it. And let's say we drag this guy into column. Let's see how it's going to look like. You see how the column now look like. Sorry. It is now in the column label. Right? So one of the most frequently used field is this row and value. It's the row and value. And as a matter of fact, we can even drag other things like a discount number. I think is a number. Yes. You can see 7-1. You can drag it to this also. That means it will create another column for it. But we cannot say some of this kind. It doesn't make sense. So if you understand the business, we can always, one of the smart things is to know that okay, average discount you gave in January. That makes sense. So you can just 5% all through the year. That was the average. So it makes sense. So we can go on like that, keep adding information, numbers to this, So that's what this thing is actually all about. Pivot table. But let me take this out first. You don't need that. And after that, you can recycle there. You can turn to copy, paste it in another part, and continue to edit. You can say, okay, let me change this one to what's the name? To the discount now, and drag it here. And say, okay, maybe the request is okay, we want to know how should I put? We want to know the maximum discount we gave. Yeah, no problem. You'll click on this guy and you just go back to the field settings, anyone we want, and look at the maximum discount we gave. 10. It's what we give, So, and we can say, okay, that's fair. Or maybe from our analytical perspective, we can say, oh, we shouldn't be given 10 because sometimes our selling month is May, June, July, August, and they'll say, please, let's lower our discount around that period because we sell better. That is our month. As a matter of fact, staffs are not allowed to go on leave those period. But is it those January that we struggle? Please, everybody can go on leave. That is one power data analysts have. They'll tell the company, see, your time is not January. So if you are not recording a huge sales, so don't bother. Play around, just say, yeah. But somebody who doesn't understand data, or maybe the company who are not leveraging on data, they will be confused. They'll begin to reduce staff, reduce this. Please, let's rescale. Okay? We cannot cater. That's one thing about data. It will help you know behaviors, sales behaviors. And somebody will say, how do we know these things? Most of the things, most of the products we buy, most of the time, it can influence by period. It could be festive period. You will know that more drinks will be sold around maybe December because not only because of Christmas now or others holidays, because we're already in dry season and people will be drinking a lot of water at that time. So sales will go high. And it will go like that in January. But time like this, maybe June, that is always raining, before you know it like this, water, this one, water, that one. So sales might not really go up at that period. So you should know, harness it. And we all know that times and season will not cease, That's, I think, that is in the Bible, yeah. So it doesn't say. So it has always been like that. Festival has always been like that. We already know when it's Ileya. We just know those months. So all these things influence a particular behavior. You already know that people will buy more clothes around this period because of this. A general factors now, a general factor to make it that, oh, this is how our sales will go. So I'm just using that as a way for us to explain. So let me go back. So this is how pivot table can help us, And from here we can even create chart and the likes. We can create chart. So, but now there are some things we can do. We can edit this. We can do that. Now, sometimes we can, if you are being asked about, okay, what is going on in January that is showing 89, or let me just use any month. Okay, let me use my bet month, July. What's happening in July? Why are we getting 109,000? You can double click here and it will create a table about July. Everything here, if you click on the drop down, you can see 2022, but expand it, it's July, expand it, July, July, July. So it will give you another table to see. This is what has happened in July, but let's just delete it. I'm using it to explain. And you can go anywhere, double click, it will show you information about it. That is one of the cool things about pivot table. It will summarize a lot of things. Let's see, let me take this out, sorry. So let's say we want to represent this in a chart or something. You know this grand total will be there. You don't need to delete it. Just go to the pivot table. We know we have been using fit settings, but you can also use pivot, can use options here. Click on it. Go to total and filter. Undo this. Then this guy will disappear. So these are just basic things we can, leverage on. Before we can now say, okay, let's go to the pivot chart. We can explore around, but we sometimes with pivot table, if our data is in pivot table, because of the complexity of how it is, it will not allow us to use some chart like tree map, except we create a mirror. But that one would be, I should be able to explain that. Mirror. Now, mirror is that you will just create a copy, maybe from the D here. You can type D equals to A4 and B equals to B4. You know, then you can now use it, especially when you are now try to design a dashboard and you need more chart. So, but some places like this, it will work. Some chart like this, by now we should know that the best chart, especially when it involves timeline, we are looking at years, weeks, is line chart. So it's very easy for us to understand. It's a continuous, it's moving. But if you are to compare, you can be thinking of bar charts, stock column, and the likes. So you can just say, okay, this is fine, and bring it up. Simple. You can see easily, we can spot that, oh, it's like June or August as the highest, from here, 129, and it tells. So that's just one out of many things we can learn on pivot table. That is one of the things. Now, let's now leverage on the multiple. Let me leave this. Let's go back to transaction. Okay, before I go back here, I don't know if it is clear. This part is clear. I need a reaction, or do I need it to re-explain? Or okay, but please feel free. Oh, okay, I'm getting some. Are we recording it? Yes, it's recorded. My network has logged me this weekend network. Sometimes I just want to cry. I'll sit on the floor and say, ha, please. Okay, it said, kindly explain this part. Okay, the graph part. Okay, all right.
And sorry, it is very clear, but I think we are not seeing your cursor movement, so it's hard to tell what you are clicking on, especially when you don't
Oh,
mention it.
okay. All right. Okay, let me explain the chart again. It's very good. At least I like that feedback. Make me feel like, oh, you're not alone. No, you're with you. Yeah, it's good. All right. So in this chart, you can see we say we can create a chart, from here. So we know this is pivot table. The pivot table analyze tab and design has automatically activated. But the moment you click something outside, you can see they have disappeared. So you have to click on it. And you can go to pivot table chart or even go to insert to pick your chart. But let's use the pivot table chart. This guy. Any one of them works, whether this will still show you the same thing, it's still working, or this from the previous chart. So you can click on it and say, okay, column, we are not comparing line charts. We want to understand what has happened. We are trying to identify, gain insight. We want to study the behavior. So we can click on this, select OK. So it will come up like this. I don't know if it is clear. Let me see.
Yes, it is, and we can see your cursor movement now. Thank you.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. All right. Hey, my screen is lagging. Oh, hey, Jesus. So sorry. But don't worry. I know everyone might not be able to, but I'll still do my best. The recording will be there to help us as well. So let's move to the second phase of the pivot table. Basically, that's what pivot table is all about. And you can use this to say, oh, determine the top 10, top 20, top 50. But we'll do that. But before we do that, so let's go to this second one. We are going to create another pivot table, but this time around, we can connect it to other tables. Like here, we have not even connecting everything here. Yeah. So let's go again to insert. Don't forget, create pivot table. Now, Yes, to a new worksheet, good. And you will select this, add this to the data model. Data model is a way of connecting multiple tables together based on certain relationship. It's very important. And before you do that, ensure everything, all the table in quote, as all the table in quote is being created. The table has been created and is named for you to easily identify them. So let's go. So it's loading right now. So you will see it will come up because it's trying to read a lot of things. So here we go. Now you will see the same pivot table football. It look different a little bit, unlike this one that is just having something like this. But if you look at this, it has these two um, tags. Unlike this one, I just have one. Shows the one we are just focusing on one table and the likes. So this one is a way to connect to any other tables. Now let's say we want to know who is our customer. Number of quantities supplied, that is from transaction and customer. We are looking at this quantity supplied now, and we want to connect it through the name of customer. But something will connect everything. What is common between them? Customer ID and here the customer ID. So this is what the data modeling in the pivot table will do for us. So now, the first thing is, let's select, this is the transaction. Okay, let's select everything now, go to all. So once we click on the all, you will see all the table names here, you see, the ones we've done. So we'll start with the customer profile because we want to look at it. Who is this customer name? We want to know those customers' names. So we can expand it and say, okay, customer name, let it come here. You can see all the customer names here, every one of them, even with those one that doesn't have any transaction. But this is where it gets more funny. So by the time we go to transaction, we now select quantity supply. We drag it down here, but it will ask us something. Yeah, see. Now, it's asking us, do we want to define a relationship between these two tables? Sometimes Excel is not so friendly on doing this, but sometimes auto detect will help us just to be sure that everything is right. So click on auto detect and it's working. You can see relationship created, and you can click close it, and this is it. You can see all of them that have done transaction. This the stuff, and we are going to confirm it. How true are we? Now look at this, sum of quantity supply 8,223 for a little beekeeper keeping INC. We don't know the kind of company name is this. Anyway, name is name. So if somebody can be bearing stones, drink water, who am I to, or even gate, who am I to complain? So sum of quantity supply is 8,235. Are we sure? So let's look at the customer ID of little beekeeping from the customer profile. Sorry, little b, we can filter it from here. Little, okay, you see. So 5594 just look like a matric number, 5594, 5594, 5594. So you look for 5594 here. So type 5594 and press OK. You can see. So that is little beekeeper. So, but in here it's showing us 8235. But let's see. Let's Control Shift down. And guess what is showing us from the sum? 8235, meaning that is correct. You can even select it here, paste it. 8235. You can see it's very, very effective. Pivot table, very effective. So this modeling, will be doing it expressly also by the time we start our what's the name? Power BI. You will be seeing the ELD. It makes sense. The entity relationship diagram to make it more easy. So let's bring everybody back. So it's just to confirm that, oh, we're correct. So you see, so this is how this thing will be. And from there, we can even say, our focus is to find the top selling, the top customer that supply. So you can right click it. I know we have done sort and, from the largest to the smallest. Okay, we'll arrange it here. See, Agro Park Incorporation down. They look very close. To look for top 10, click on this drop down. Now there is a way you can filter. You can see value filter, label filter. Our focus is now on value filter. It's easy. And you go to the down, top 10, but in Power BI it will show you top N in the filter, in the canvas, filter canvas. So just click on the top 10 here. It's not like it's just using top 10 because it's mostly used these days. And you can edit it even to bottom 10 if you like. And you can adjust it maybe to top 15 or top 20 and press OK. You can change which one are you using. So far is the only one here. And the reason for this is we can have multiple of this, multiple column with numbers. So that's why if we have multiple one, we can always choose one that it will rearrange with respect to. So we can press OK. We are looking at 10. I'm writing 20. 10 is fine. Good. So you can see the 10 and the sum. So 92,308. Correct. So let's do another one. At least maybe this one looks like a fluke. But let's do another one to ensure that, okay, what we are doing is actually valid. So let's reset everything now. You can see it's showing that we are using this, but we can clear all the filter to bring everyone back. Now let's look at the product. Let's do something and say, okay, what about the revenue of the products supplied? So there's a one way to do that. Now, first thing, we have to take this guy out. So we can go to products now, expand it. Remember, every one of them is connected together. So the product name, let's drag it down here. Now it's saying, should we auto detect? Of course, yes. And here we go. One to many, meaning that one is coming from the product profile. We can only have one product and it can appear multiple times on the transaction. So it's a way to give us a data architecture of, we have one to many relationship, but Power BI, they'll give you one funny name, fact table, dimension. Dimensions are the attributes or contain attributes of this. Fact table has the transactions, what is happening at the time, you update it time to time, But that will be that. So we'll get to that part. So you can see there's a relationship. So let's say we're even looking for the revenue. We can also drag unit price. Unit price is found also here. So we can scroll down and see the unit price, drag it down because it is connected already. If you want to manage or view the relationship, you can click here to see how these guys are connected. You can edit it, you can deactivate it, delete it if you like, but it is okay this way. So we can say, okay, Abilify is 11,264, but let's see, Abilify. I've never seen product name like that, but let's check. Abilify. Okay, they say 11, you see, it's correct. 265, correct. And And that means it is correct also. I know simple calculation of revenue is usually quantity supply times unit price, Now, if you just press equals to and select this, see what it's showing you. Get data, this is, it will not give you anything you want. Because that is what it was written now for all this pivot table to function. So I would advise you not to click on it directly. You can do it for this guy, no problem. But for this guy, there's problem. So let's take them out. Then how do we do that? Just look at the cell name F4. Type F4, it will highlight it. Simple. Times G4. These are the basic things. So we can type our revenue separately here. And I will click it down, something like this. So this is how you can do your stuff. And you can copy it and, use it for some other things. So you can do a lot of things, when it comes to modeling, normalizing. Now, there's one thing I want to show us. Let me take this out. So, or maybe I should leave this because I'm going to send the data. So let's recycle this. You can recycle it also, so it doesn't change anything. You just have to copy, especially when you are building dashboard. Just be copying it, pasting it, edit it, copy it, pasting it, editing it, copy it. And it will not stop. All right, so now let's say we want to calculate churn. Churn is something that is a way to know which customer has not been doing some business with us for some time. So, but before we do that, I'm coming back to this. Let's look at the transaction now to know the last date. So with that, we can say, okay, this is the first day, 2022 is the last date. And the last month is December. So let's assume that, we are now doing this analysis. We're in the new year Eve, January 1st, 2023. That's the picture I want us to see now so that we can understand how it looks like. Let's just type it here. January, that's 1/1, 2023. So we can assume that, this is today's date. Dates when we are doing this analysis. So the picture is we are trying to create maybe something like we want to know who has been doing business with us, who recently do business, or who has not, because we have a lot of them. Just like banks, after some days or months of inactivity, they will just assume, okay, your account has been dormant and some other things. So they will not nobody will not just wake up and say, hey, let's dormant this account. No, it doesn't work that way. So there is a time, there's something that is reading it. So let's look at how to do this churn thing. So let's go. And I think this can be what maybe something we can go on with. So let's take out these guys one by one. They have done well, they're amazing. So let's just go. But now our focus is now on what's the name? The customers now. Now let's go to the customer, expand this, the customer name. Yes. You can click on it and assume that okay, it should be in the row now. You get so something like this. And look at the what's the name? We can even let's name this as our customer now. Rename it. And do not look at their transactions because transactions, there's a date that capture it. So we are going to drop this down here. So we'll collapse this and go to transactions. So we'll look at the date. You can see. And as a matter of fact, you will drag the date to this. But don't forget, by default, it will count it. It will count it. So this is just date now. But why is it? You cannot sum dates together. You cannot say 1/1/2004 plus. But there are some other parameters that are well used to depict what the days are all about. So we want to know the last day each one of them bought from us. So you can go to the insert table for the feed settings here. Don't forget, I'm trying to refresh us. Value feed setting also. And we can even click down here and view this value feed settings too. So with this, you can click on the feed settings and say, okay, we are not after count. Even though we know sum is not even an option, we are looking at maximum. So it's not performing any wonder. So it will just give us the last date each guys here has bought something from us. So just press OK. I even show, you can see it's even adding date, but let's at least make it very consistent. You just want to be very certain about this. We just want to be. So let's go to the insert. Oh, custom, no wonder. Let's give it a simple date. It's fine. We don't need to stress ourselves. All right. At least we know how we can, go about this. So this is the last day. I like agree to 0. So let's confirm. Let's be sure. If true, this is the last day. This guy, September 16, bought from us. Agree to 0. Agreed to go. And you'll be saying, somebody that the man will always come here and say, yeah, let's check. Now, we'll go to the customer profile. Let's type go. You can even type agree here. You can see just to bring it up. So 5551, that's made this the customer ID. So let's go to the transaction and type 5551. Here we go. So you see. Now, you can see the last transaction is even the only one. Sorry. Oh, sorry, my bad. I was typing the transaction. Sorry, it's meant to be the customer table. So 5551. There we go. Yeah. So you can see a lot of them, lot of their activity, but the last one here, it is arranged sequentially. That is 16th of September 2022 was the last day he bought something from us. He bought a necessary item. So you can see it's correct. Agro to something. So this means that okay, it's giving us the last day they bought something from us. So this was the last day. So, and today's date. And yeah, let's call this is today. Let's say this today's date. We'll just put it there. Today's date. Oh, I don't know why thought day comes here. Am I thinking of Tottenham or what? Apologies, just kidding. All right, so 1/1/2023. Let's copy it so that it doesn't start reading. So let's drag it down and so that we can compare it. Of course. Now there's a formula called days. It's to calculate number of days between two dates. Now let's first of all define a criteria that okay, if an account is inactive for 2 months, let's say 2 months, Not 2 months will be too. I think the standard is 3 months. So 3 months is an average of 30 days times 90 days. 90 days. Any inactive account in 90 days will be tagged as shown. And also in the shown analysis too, there are category of customer. There are some customers are just showing, and there are some that are shown for a lifetime. So there is a need for us to know how to categorize them. The one that has gone for a long time, don't mix them together with the ones that are just showing. The ones that are just showing, they still have information about what is happening in our system. Maybe they just got disappointed, unlike somebody who has gone for a long time. So those ones that are gone for the long time, we want to bring them back. So it is a rescue mission. It will be like, it's a long journey. They are going to, the people that is going to address them, maybe the customer service specialist now, they would look at how to steal them, because some of them might be in the business, some might not. And I want to like, okay, we want to bring you back, guys, to the fold. So how do we do it? What is your customer doing for you? Our competitor. For somebody who just crossed, that will pose another question. Okay, why did you just leave us, sir? We notice you are not buying something from us. Is it the discount? We'll do it because we cannot afford to lose customer. Losing customer, it will take times 4 of the amount we invested to gain a new one. So it is smartly better not to lose customers. It's very important. So this is one of the reasons why churn analysis is a very important analysis to do. So let's look at, there's a formula called days. You can even go to the formula library. You can see the library. And you can go to date and time. You see this. And as a matter of fact, you can see what it's telling us all about. Return the number of days between 2 days. So explore this. You can see a lot of things you can do. So now, you can say days apart and call it and say, okay, equals to days. Press tab. The end date is this guy. It's today we are doing it. We are doing the analysis. And the start date was the last time they bought from us. So let's call that L4. Close bracket. 13 days ago. You get? So let's make it proper. So just drag it down. You see the mix stuff we have here. So, and we can, do something here, use our if and else statement, to do some nice stuff to indicate. I'm just trying to give us an application, a real life application, indicator rather, of determine if this customer is shown or not. You can see that these first 3 guys here are not shown. Okay, we're good with them. But the guy, this is our guy, agreed to go. Shouldn't be. So we can just write something. I think we have done something like this. If this guy is greater than 90 or equals to 90, return shown. Most of the time, they will not call it shown. They will just call it inactive, but shown. Else, return active. And that's it. So you can see these guys are active, and drag it down. So you can see, you can use sum if to now count number of shown, or count if number of shown customers we have and their percentage, and we can use that to, some of the insights could be, we currently have 95 shown customers, and from your report you can now see, hey, and this shown customer, they contributed 40-something% of our last year budget, last year revenue. I'm telling you, the manager will rise up. Say, hey, what is happening Sometimes they don't like we data analytics and analysts to give our report. There was a time I gave one funny report. I said, with this sales performance, so if we continue with this kind of report, we will only cover 30% of the budget by the end of November. Somebody just, I don't even know, from you say, Richard, stop it, don't say that. God will do it. God will do it. I say, they say they don't like me to be reporting. It's always scary. But if we do well, I'll also look for the good side. I will, of course, report to let them know. The idea is, if we are not telling them like this and it happens suddenly, they know whom to turn to. Oh, why is our tech guys? Why is the R&D? Why is this? It will just turn. How come this happened and you guys didn't tell us? We are not informed, So it's one of the things you should do in your reports. It's not like you are trying to scare anybody, but let them be conscious of what is coming. It's a way to let them know. Because at the end of the day, you will still be the one. You need to also give them ways based on what you have analyzed, how you can go about it. Okay, with this, from our historical data, we noticed you have to do some target marketing here. We tell our market intelligence team, please guys, support the market and the sales team. They need to understand that in this region, it is targeted market. That is how we can use it to plan or to forecast. We begin to give insight and something that will make them more, this can be true. So that if these targeted customers now want to buy, their services will be seamless. Maybe you give them, you will encourage them by giving discounts or just, delivery is free for you guys, so that it can attract others within that local. So I'm just saying, so what are the things pivot table can do? We have a lot of things they can do, and of course, this is just one of them. But let's look at the pivot table charts. We'll just do some few things and then we are good for the day. So to shift down. Okay, before I move on, do we have any question? Any question, or is it clear to some extent? Okay, I'm seeing, let me check the chat. Okay, forms. Okay, his name, please. Well, asking my name. God have mercy. I'm Akwabioluwa Shina Richard. Ajanoku I don't know, I can be very playful, but that's me. So please, can you add calculations be added to the chat? Of course, we're about to get that started now. We're about to get that started right now. So, but don't worry, the video too will be available as well for us. Guys, we are learning. We are all learning one way or the other, from our profession, to pivot properly to tech. Trust me, we're in the right place. So let's go. Now, okay, I'm hearing voice. I'm hearing a voice. Sorry, I can't hear you clearly, Sas. I'm doing my best to listen. Okay, from the chat table, I'm saying, when will you get this? We'll do our best to send it today, the data set. So somebody is saying something. Maybe it's from my hand, but I'm not so certain. You are not so audible, sir. And your voice, I'm so sorry. You sound like Voldemort, Lord Voldemort in a report. I'm so sorry. I can't hear clearly. Just to describe how terrible the network is from our hand. Yes, we'll ensure that the recording is accessible. In case you can't ask a direct question, maybe as a result of the bad network, please let's just send a chat. Yes, I think that's why it is there. Please. We just want to do one or two things, then we are good for the day. So, all right, let's continue. No, sorry. about this inconvenience of. So let's recycle this one more time. So we want to do something that can use our chat. No, Dota is giving us. Don't worry about this one. All right. Let's create another one here. So now let's say there are some there are some tasks. Top 10 customer by revenue, top 10 products by quantity supplied. We want to just do that. Customer by revenue now. So we just drag this guy. Okay, these are customers there already. And we now go to okay. What's the name? Quantity supplied. We'll drag it down. Oh, sorry. Why is this showing this? Because it's already on the date format. We must do our best to know. So let's control highlight it. Control highlight it down. I change the date and data format to a proper number. As a matter of fact, not just number. Let's go to more number formats so that we can have the separator in there. Yes, it makes sense. And of course, this is just quantity now. It shouldn't have decimal. This is an integer rather, not float or any of. So this is the quantity supply now to these customers. Then the unit price. So we can collab this. The product now. So this is the unit price. So drag it down here. And you say yes. We have not created an auto. We have not created a relationship with it. No, we are now using three tables: the quantity from transaction, customer, and the product. So just click on auto detect. All right, all right, all right. It said if we can manage it, but let's see if we can do that. Let me use new. Okay, the related table. What we are trying to connect is okay, unit price, and so customer. We want to connect the unit price to transaction. So let's look at this. Oh no, this should be the foreign table. No, let's just see, and the product. So what we want to connect it with is the product ID. And this one also the product ID. Anyone, just relationship already exists. Oh, okay, okay, okay. I get it now. I get it now. It's because it's thinking of customer. How should I put it now? Customer. This thing. All right. Let's trickle it. Customer. Oh, sorry. Product. So this should be product ID. Relationship already existing in the same table. Okay, but let's see why it's not connecting, kind of. So this is our customers, this is the quantity supply, and okay, no, I now see why it's not connecting, because the we want to, in Excel, it might be very maybe, let me just use this word, not very easy to connect three tables together in a single, unlike what's the name, unlike Power BI that can connect as multiple in a model. So usually it's always two, though normally it's supposed to have said, okay, there's a this thing here, then we just use that to connect at all. I mean, to connect it, but it's not even an issue. So one of the things, this is where we can begin to look at, okay, let's bring in the table stuff from here. Though this one is not, it's just an improvise, but because it doesn't support it, I say VLOOKUP. Maybe we have done it, I'm not sure, but VLOOKUP, and let's bring in the customer. Okay, before we do that, I just want to show us the application, so we can, in some cases, we just have to apply some of these things because it's a limitation of 2. We could have just created 3. Now it involves transactions and the customer table. So what we can do is this. Let's look at this customer. Okay, customer profile. Let's bring this guy back. Okay, I'm afraid this serial number I have to go, except we want to drag it, we highlight it and drag it, but I think it should just go. So let me come back here and refresh it. Okay, good. So this is a transaction 1. So we just want to bring back this guy. Want it to appear. So that will be, we just say, okay, VLOOKUP now, R4, comma, customer. So you can see customer profile 1. So it will show us the customer, their ID. Oh, okay. So let's just create a reflection. Just this is going to be a reflection of what we already have here. Don't worry. So, oh, sorry. So how many columns? 1, 2, 3, 5. I'm going to explain this properly, don't worry. Oh, sorry. Our lookup function, sorry. Okay, let's make it all right. We can't use the entire customer profile because what is starting with is not the, it's actually been a while. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. Okay, yeah. So change this to 4. I just hope, probably we must have done something like this. I just really hope. But sometimes in cases like this, we can, look at how we can improvise. Sometimes it's necessary. Let's take this guy out, the total. So again, don't forget, we come here, option, undo everything here, click on OK. So we don't need this. Now, the purpose of this is actually to be able to connect to transactions. Then from transactions, we can bring in our stuff. So let's call this customer ID. But I'm just showing us this because sometimes pivot table data modeling has some limitation. This is where Power BI is a little bit better when it comes to proper modeling. We don't have to go through all this slide, but I just want to show us how this can still be achieved still. So we have customer ID here, and it's reflecting here as well. So through this, we can bring in let's replicate something like this. This is looking, messy, and I'm not a fan of it. So I like, all right, so equals to C2 now. Just a way to replicate it now. Come back here, refresh it. Just make sure it's appear. So now we'll bring our ID here also, transaction ID. Then we can say, okay. So let me count it. starting from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we are looking for this to bring the sum of quantity now. Get sum of quantity. Okay, so we already have a quantity. Okay, we are trying to bring in the product now. Okay, so the product. Okay, the product is already here, so we don't I think it's through transactions we are going to use so that we can use it to bring the product ID and connect. So we are bringing this and this. So, but let's start with TID, the reflection of this. I know this is now looking, what are we doing now? But don't worry, we look up. So these are lookup functions. So come back to the transaction table. So we want to bring this from here down. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. To make it faster, Ctrl Shift down. Just press Ctrl Shift down. And press comma and 1, 2, 3, 5. False. So it will bring the transaction ID. And why we are doing this is because through this we can now bring in, connect this to the what's the name, to the IDs, to those attribute, product attributes. Then from product attributes we can now bring in the price. So you can see this long step we are taking because we couldn't model 3 tables together here without doing some editing, and it's not also reading. So that's why we are going through this step. So just say, okay, PID. PID is next, and we can use our transaction, this guy, to bring them. So transaction, we can just use this tick 1, 2, 3 to bring the product ID out. To bring the product ID out. So let's go. So just okay, look up this guy, comma. Then we'll come back to the transaction. So it's 3. Just shift down, comma 3, then false. So that's the product. Then we can now bring the unit price. So we can now bring up the unit price here. So with the unit price, we can unit price of this product. So we can go back to product ID. You can see the product ID here, and we can use it to bring this unit price 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll just go ahead and type VLOOKUP again, a lookup function, this, comma, product. You can see our product profile table here, comma, 5, false. So these are the unit price. So we can now see revenue. So revenue will now be, see the step we took before we can get this, will be X4 times W4. So we don't have to go through this if we are familiar with what's the name. But don't worry. One thing that is very certain is once we have this, you can just map them out. Okay, mark this and this guy out. Know, okay, which one is selling better? Something like this. Just press Ctrl to multi-select. So maybe we can have it in a different sheet, something like this. Though this just except maybe just this is every one of them. Okay, we'll create a table around this. Okay, then sort it, not just to the smallest. So with this, we can begin to say, okay, our top 10 customer, of course, but this is a very long journey, but I just want us to have a better knowledge of what we can do, especially when we are being asked to do this. Pivot table, yes, they are truly powerful, especially when we are having some data to summarize, some important dashboard to build. So those things are very, very okay. So we can now begin to say, okay, we want to filter and do some stuff, some custom filter. So, okay, these are top 10, count it if it is 11, okay. These are top 10, and so we can just take it out. But, you know, in some cases, you just have to use equals to, you know, and select them to rearrange them. But I'm just telling us one of the shortcomings of some of the limitation also of data modeling through pivot table. You might not be able to create three connectivity like that. So I don't know if I'm making sense, or I should, I don't know, or I've scattered everything. But one thing I want us to, okay, I have message. Okay, attendance. Okay, one thing I just want us to know for certain is how we can connect it to other tables. I mean, other table modeling. One the things, a single. I'm just trying to rush because of our time. It's what a single pivot table can do in terms of some summaries, and you know, a lot of things. So we can do a lot of things from here. So, and how we can create a relationship around it, you know, we can even add a new one, but you know, sometimes it is even up to us. But let me see, because it should be able to, you know, give us an heads up, you know. And this is products, the product document here, product ID here. You know, there is a problem. Except we make products profile transaction, it's saying there is already an existing relationship, but it's not giving us an approval regarding it. You know, it's not giving any approval regarding it. It's saying, so it's trying to limit it just to two. You know, so it's just one of the limitations. That's why we go through this length. So it's safe to say, if don't these are not a best practice, especially when you are meant to combine multiple table or model multiple tables together to get what you're looking for. But the best practice sometimes, once you understand, you'll be using larger tables, I mean larger number of tables, then you can begin to think of Power BI, which will take you as well. So do we have any question? Any observation? Okay, I'm seeing chat. Any question? A bit confusing too, but I have a great time. Sorry, I think I shouldn't have even bring in that idea of combining three. I was just thinking, let me see if I can try out and see. Maybe there is a new feature now in Excel. So it's getting guys on the press slowly, but yes, you have to practice it. As a matter of fact, it's very important. You have to try. You still have to, you know, on your own pace. Please don't let anybody say, you have to know it now. If you don't know it, forget about it. With your own pace. Some people, it's not like they are dumb, but it's maybe they are very slow in grabbing things. And once they get it, they will never forget. I know someone like that it's quite very slow. You just give me time. You will not know. In fact, you know, this discussion is like 2 years ago, and you are still flowing with it, you know. So, okay, I'm getting a question. Okay, I said, sir, you use data modeling to connect all. Yes, if it is possible, the question is actually you can use the idea is to use data modeling to connect everything all together. There's a way you can do that, and I believe in our what's the name, by the time we are working on Power BI, when we are doing, you can connect multiple tables, multiple dimensions to the fact table. You can connect everything. Okay, all right. I think Mr. Foloshaw wants to say something there. All right. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Good. And I wasn't really in your last. Maybe I left earlier, so I really did not really. Maybe I think I saw something around data modeling, right? So probably tomorrow's section is going to cover data modeling, and I'm taking. There's data modeling in Excel. I don't know whether you touched it today anyway, but maybe the person that is asking the question will talk about Power Pivot tomorrow, and we will do a bit of data modeling before you guys move to Power BI. So don't worry if you don't get it now. Tomorrow is another session that you will understand data modeling in Excel. Yeah.
Okay. That's just it. So yes, the good thing is tomorrow we'll be having more robust section on data modeling where you can see how you can connect these data sets together, just like the one I'm using right now. So it's just one of those things that is very important, especially when you are working with a large, not just large number of data, multiple data sources now, how you can bring them together to assist as one. Yes, Ezra is trying to do something like that, but over time, they are not just getting it. I guess we'll look at it tomorrow properly together. And of course, it's going to be fun. So by now, if somebody is talking about pivot table, by now we should say, you can able to see one or two things on pivot table and, to even generate chart from it, understand how we can manipulate data, to get what we want. You can see the case study here on how we can, we can use how we can actually use what's the name? How we can create identify shown customers and the like. So it's just very important we do that. Okay, I think I removed something here. Oh, the date. So it's just let me just quickly include the dates here. Um, so you just go to just to be sure that okay, this is one of the things we do that okay, how we can use it to find Sean to know which customer have been inactive, number of days they have been using, and the like. So by God's grace, tomorrow we'll be look more into the modeling pattern and make it more seamless. So I'll do my best to ensure you get this data today and possibly to the recording as well. So that we can practice from our end and have a nice time. So do we have any question, observation, more before we call it a day today? A question? Okay, let me check the chat.
Please, are we going to have the data for tomorrow class, like before the class? Because it was a bit difficult to like follow the class today without the data set.
Okay. I will try to relate with the community manager so that you can get today's data exactly our worksheet like this, so that we can also see it ourselves firsthand. For tomorrow's data, I think our organs, Mr. Farasha, will be more. We communicate. I think is coming up with a data set that we use also to still explain the same thing, and give a very clear understanding of what we have been discussing, whether under the circumstances of using a different data now. But it's something that will still be narrowing down the same message. So I guess that would do it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've answered your question, ma'am.
Yes, thank you.
All right. So, Mr. Kundu will make more, we'll discuss more on data modeling also tomorrow. We are just Excel, uh, PowerPoint, I say PowerPoint, pivot table rather, on modeling can actually do, but there are some things Power Pivot can do more also. So I don't want to, that's why I'm trying not to go there against tomorrow. So look at that compression tomorrow by God's grace. So any question, any observation, anything before we say, hey, it's Saturday. Mr. Daniel, I truly wish I can hear you. To very say I'm eager to see if your network from your end or your sound system, if you are using earpiece, probably you can just remove it or just try to speak.
Yes, sir, please. Sir, can you hear me now?
Oh, better. I can hear you.
Okay, thank you so very much. My question is, as for today class, we got a little bit lost on the way because when you were doing all this pivot table, we were understanding, but it got somewhere where some of us were confused, but we're trying to watch the video, then maybe we understand a little bit better. But I guess that if you are sending us this is just a contribution, if you're sending us the data sets, maybe we should have a problem that at least will aid us to maybe know the direction towards we are going to solve a particular problem with that kind of data set.
Okay.
Yes.
All
Yeah,
right. So,
I think there
okay.
should be a problem that we want to solve with that kind of a data instead of us
All right.
just going all over, up and down.
Okay. My first thought was because I was actually I was having a picture of my audience, people who are actually data, pivot table completely new to. So that is why we didn't really start with the application in terms of, okay, what can we use it to do? But of course, you know, I'm not just going to send the data set now. So I'll also include some few cases you can attempt, I can use to, get it done. So I think that will be fine, I guess, Mr. Daniel.
Okay, sir. Thank you so very much.
You're welcome. So because we should also incorporate people who are also just learning very for the first time to look into the navigations and, okay, how do we do this? Do we do that? So time is not always on our side. So any more questions, please? Before we call it a day, please don't worry. All right, so don't worry. We got to cover our discussion. Always continue from our group, our chat group in Discord. Let's always ask questions. Please, let's feel free. So, see you. I'll still be meeting you guys in our SQL class. So we'll talk much more and we'll be good. Okay, thank you. Okay, attendance. I think the attendance was, if we go through the forms, please. There is a
Yes,
form.
sorry, I'm still the attendance too. Yes. Can we
Okay.
stop the recording now?
Okay, let me do that.
Okay, thank you. The attendance has been sent. I will share it again. It's in the chat box.